nights that lonely taught me what no one did.
Hey there, Nocturnes! Welcome back to another episode of Unplugged. I'm Jeremy, back from his YouTube detox. For tonight, we'll be talking about this movement that I've recently discovered. It's called Rejecting Modernity, Embracing Masculinity. First, let's know what these videos actually mean. The ones that I watched which carry the same theme. The first part always goes like this. Spliced videos of influencers discouraging men to work out by saying that working out is a form of fat phobia. And then there's an article with the title Physical Fitness or Working Out is associated with toxic masculinity. And then other discouragements to exhibit the stereotypical masculine traits that you and I both know. Then the second part goes like this. It usually opposes what is said in the first part. So if the first part discourages masculinity, the second part praises it. The second part features videos of martial artists, men beating up each other, and then other stereotypical masculine traits. What I think these videos are telling the audience is that modernity has made men weak. In other words, modernity, what comes with modernity is the many products that people purchase, particularly men. Okay, what are the things that men are addicted to? Could be cigarettes, could be alcohol, could be porn, could be video games, etc. Now, in order for men to patronize these products, there are many representations and commercials, telling men to stop the Neanderthal masculinity that you're showing, that you've been taught. Set that aside and instead embrace these. You deserve a break. What I think about that slogan, it does make sense considering my culture as a Filipino. I'm a Filipino who always has this clash with the dominant practices in my own society. This society where I grew up in, and I think I'm still growing. But I've come to learn how to counteract what I've been taught, because what I've been taught, not all of them is right. And as a mature adult, I have learned to speak up and create culture rather than follow a trend all the time. If I were to apply that slogan to my context, there are 3 traits which I believe people have become ashamed to show. And I want to bring that discourse to a universal level, not just masculinity, not just men, but anyone who's in the same situation as me. If you're in a culture, in a society where you're struggling to show certain qualities because you need to conform to expectations, well, I think this video is for you. So watch till the end, my friend. For the first quality, I think there's this avoidance of leadership positions. In the organizations I've been part of, whenever there are elections, whenever there are calls for applications to certain administrative positions, people tend to shy away from them. Why? Because of the perception that if you have a leadership position, you can tend to be toxic, domineering, and people will avoid you. And in my culture, in order to be loved, you have to make yourself small, hide your potential. That's, I think, the implied message behind such avoidance. I believe that people shouldn't be ashamed of that inner desire to lead and influence people, to make them move in a certain way, to serve your goals. I only fight for people who have pure goals that are meant to help make this world a better place and not to satisfy one's greed, just to be clear. The second trait that seems to be lacking is ownership, whether it's mistakes or responsibility. People usually make excuses. They blame the environment. They blame other people. They blame their own deprivation in the sense that they weren't born with this talent. That's why they were not able to do this successfully. Well, I think that should stop. People should learn to know what they can control and what others can control. They should own what they know they can change and then just let other people own what they can influence. So that's another trait that I think is lacking among people, and I think undervalued in today's society. And then the last trait, which I think needs more attention, is word of honor. In my language, Tagalog, we have this word ningaskugod, which refers to the act of saying something and then not really acting on it at all. Let's say you promised to arrive 30 minutes before the meeting tomorrow, but actually you arrived 30 minutes after the meeting tomorrow. And that should stop. People should learn to mean what they say and then do what they say. It's actually rare for me now to encounter people who actually meant what they said they would do, or what they thought. Or maybe, yes, maybe, yeah, people do say what they truly think, but doing what they say, it's very rare. Or probably it's starting not to exist anymore. And I think that is one part, that's a trait which modern society has discouraged people to do, or at least made people forget to do. Word of honor is very important. Considering all these traits, I think people will be one step closer to solving their problems if they have a sense of leadership, accountability, and word of honor. Having these traits will not necessarily make problems disappear, but at least if people have these qualities, they'll feel more in control and they will have a higher sense of confidence to face life's challenges. So, what are your thoughts about this? I hope I was able to take the discourse to a different level and not simply limit it to arbitrary notions on gender equality, because I believe the slogan is not about the fight for gender equality, but a revival of certain traits which society has forgotten because of consumerism. That's what I think the discourse is all about, and not the arbitrariness of whether or not discrimination truly exists. That's not the aim of this talk, but it's to recognize that we've allowed certain forces to make ourselves forget what we're truly capable of. And this is a reminder, that movement. So personally, yes, I'm glad that I've encountered that trend. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with people whom you know have something to say about this and can continue the conversation. Leave a comment whether you agree with me or not. How does this apply to your own context? Rejecting modernity and embracing masculinity. Whether or not you are a man biologically, and by the way, I've made the distinction between sex, gender, and sexuality in one of my videos. You may check that out. But nonetheless, whatever your sex or sexuality is, or gender identification, whether or not you identify with a gender, if you think you have qualities which seem to be undermined by society, if you have this personality culture clash with your society, then I'm glad to hear what those are. What those traits are, the ones that are undervalued in your society. Continue surviving in the dark for the next episode.
From me every time I looked where you wanted, I didn't know you were already sucking from me my every ounce of focus, which I could have directed to the cause I am truly fighting for. So I'm going to press the power button and push your head down. Not minding the surprise, I'm going to leave my chair behind. Together with your face, I'm not looking away from the back.